Hi everyone and welcome to another Whiteboard Friday, and today I'm going to talk to you about why you're not in bureaucracy, you are bureaucracy. Hi everybody, welcome to another Whiteboard Friday. It's great to be back. I've been off for a little bit. I've got a whole new whiteboard here and I've got loads of lights and it all looks great, and I'm very excited to kick off my weekly Whiteboard Fridays again. So today I'm going to talk about why you are not in bureaucracy, you are bureaucracy. And let me give you a little bit of a metaphor here. When you're in your car and you're stuck in traffic, you are not in traffic. You are traffic. You are part of the cause of that traffic. Now, I have joined lots and lots of people in lots of workshops online and listened to lots of feedback. And the number one thing that people always say is, we're too bureaucratic. There's too much bureaucracy. It's too hard to do things. But none of them actually look inwards and say to themselves, how much of that bureaucracy am I creating or my team's creating? And how much could we reduce? And imagine if every person took personal accountability for the amount of bureaucracy that they create and the processes that they put in place, and they all look to reduce those processes, how much less bureaucratic would our business be? Well, the answer is a lot. So let's look at how you would actually do it. First of all, always remember, you are that traffic. So take a look at the processes you have in place already and look inwards to say, what are our team putting in place? Are we making people go through hoops or certain processes or certain checkpoints in order to deal with us, in order to have relationships with us and work with us? And really challenge which of those are actually needed. How many of them do you really need, and how many of them could be reduced? Now, what processes you need is always a good question, because sometimes you've got to look at doing a start, stop, continue and look at exactly what you need. There are lots of processes in place that are there for a reason, and they're there to protect us, and they're there because we need them as a bank from a regulatory purpose or whatever purpose. And sometimes people's interpretation of bureaucracy is just that they see the process but they don't understand the rationale behind that process. So sometimes all you've got to do is just talk them through it and to say, I know this seems like a long process, but the reason we've got it in place is X, Y and Z. That makes people feel so much better because they understand why it's there, the rationale was there, and it's much easier to then fill out that process because you understand why it's in place. So have a look at your start, stop, continue and think about what it is you can get rid of, what has to stay there, and what new things maybe that you could put in place or more efficiencies that you could drive in order to be able to make it better. When we talk about efficiencies, we're looking at improving on what you have right now. Now, an improvement might just be the reduction of a process or the removal of something, but there might just be certain steps in that process that could be improved by systems, by approaches. Perhaps you don't really need that, but looking back into your process and seeing how people are completing them and filling them out, identifying the slow points, the challenging points, and saying, actually, how much value is each step of this process bringing both to us and to them, will give you a really good sense of what is actually important and what needs to stay and what needs to change. And then when you do put your new process in place or your new streamlined process in place, measure that process. Actively keep an eye on it and say, is this working? Is it making better? Get feedback from people. Look at the time it takes to complete it. Look at whether your team is now working more efficiently, and continue to iterate that process over and over again. And that's the key part here. You've got to keep repeating it. Chances are the first time you streamline a process, it's not going to be exactly as you want it to be. So you've got to iterate it and repeat it and get that measures and get that feedback. Now, improving bureaucracy is fundamental to our business, and it's something that everybody needs to take personal accountability of. I want to hear your stories on the areas that you think you might be able to reduce bureaucracy for yourself, and where you think you're putting in processes that could be improved and how you might be able to improve them as well. Share your thoughts in the comments below and share some examples of how you've streamlined some processes so that other people can get inspired too. That's it from me. Thanks again. I'll see you all again next week for another Whiteboard Friday.